Chapter 4 of Looking at Movies introduces us to the elements of a narrative. A narrative is a story, a cinematic structure in which filmmakers have selected events which occur over time. A narrative is not constricted to the world of movies, but is within our daily lives as well. As we recall a memory or tell a joke, this would be considered being a narrative. Narration is the act of telling the story. The narrator is who or what tells the story, so the narrator delivers the narration. In most films, the camera acts as the primary narrator, but in some cases, we encounter other narrators, such as a third-person narrator, outside the world of the story, or a character within the world of the story. Events, characters, sounds that form a world where the story is referred to is the diegesis. The story includes the diegesis, every event and action the audience sees on screen. The plot consists of specific actions and events that the filmmakers take and arrange to effectively convey the narrative. E.M. Forster says it best: "The king died, and then the queen died," is a story. "The king died, and then the queen died of grief," is a plot. Let's get back to diegetic and non-diegetic elements, shall we? The Big Charade, a short film released in 2003, displays the use of non-diegetic elements. Here's what that means. This short film uses things the audience sees and hears on the screen from outside the world of the story. These things could include, but are not limited to, titles and credits, score music, voiceover, comments from a third-person narrator. This film starts out with a third-person narrator, telling us to prepare ourselves for a new type of charades, while a man disrupts a friendly game of charades next door in his apartment. This dramatic commentary builds the comical tone of this film, because without it, the audience might suspect that this could be a documentary or a drama. Immediately, the audience is taken back to see a small boy and his father outside a house playing charades. We are now hearing the voice of the boy himself, a grown-up version, but the narrator of these scenes is that character. Now we are hearing the narrative from the character himself. So, from this specific narration, the audience gains close to omniscient point of view about what is happening. Non-diegetic elements give us the audience more information and background to help us discover the meaning of the story. Bartholomew's Song from 2005 is completely different to The Big Charade. It uses no diegetic elements to get its message across. There is no narrator to guide the audience through each obscure scene. As we observe the scenes, we begin to infer the story. Bartholomew's Song is very plain, but each movement, character, shot, and room we see are very important. You must pay close attention to each scene, and by the end you will have an idea or an interpretation of its meaning. This can be confusing and maybe even frustrating, but it gives us the neat experience to gain understanding through format instead of content, which is rare in the film world. The use of diegetic and non-diegetic elements, both very different, are two ways that get the message across. Personally, I preferred watching The Big Charade because I didn't have to ponder and infer and observe so much as I did with Bartholomew's Song. But some people like doing that. They like to think and observe and reflect and ponder. But I really just appreciated the way the third-person narrator and the character himself shared information and a backstory and led me into the story I was watching. Thanks for listening. This is Elise Pinheiro signing off.